And we're live. Whoop-de-whoop. I'm back, baby. Back from the dead. I've been wanting to do more streaming for a little while. But I'm notoriously bad at... what's the word? Consistency. And so actually putting a plan into action is challenging for me. But with the help of some friends from my new Discord server, which kind of what's the word? It manifested from my banning from Twitter. Second time. I feel like I've been banned from Twitter more than once, but this. I mean, sorry, more than twice. I feel like it's more than twice, but I can't. I know I have on other accounts, but maybe it's only 2 on this one. But I'm still appealing, still waiting to see if Elon will give my account back. I was thinking what I could do is get together a whole bunch of tweets of like Nazi shit. That is, up on Twitter, and then be like, why can't I have an account when all the Nazi shit is still there? But I didn't actually do that. I just went ahead and rounded up a bunch of junk from my favorite subreddit, Toilet Paper USA, plus a couple of other things, just to kind of talk about here on the old live stream. I also got some tweets from my best friend, and my unrequited lover, Insane Cope, who in my final days on Twitter, we kind of come to realize that he's got I think he's caught feels for me, and now that I'm gone, who knows what he is doing without me. I mean, I sustained him most of the time, but I pulled up a couple of funny tweets that Insane Cope got onto as well. So there's that. But anyway, if you're watching, thanks for being here. Feel free to say hi in the chat. And if not, then I don't know why you are here if you're not here. It doesn't make any sense. So you just cut it out, all right? So here I go. I'm going to switch over to my little thingy here, and get up my first couple of tweets. To be fair, this isn't really a tweet, but this is, I thought this was kind of funny. Whilst, I mean, this the other thing as well, which I was rather disappointed in, the fact that I got banned, and then fucking Trump got all these felony charges, got convicted of 34 felonies, which is amazing. But I've missed out on all the discourse because Elon took away my free speech. 2 seconds. I've been censored. Thanks. Hi, Space Cat. Cats, spaces and cats. Yeah, I'm going for a Tim Pool look today, as you can see. But unlike Tim Pool, I actually have hair. Yeah. But yes, I've missed out on the Trump discourse, which hurts my soul because it's just so funny. It's very, very, very funny that this has happened, and then seeing the subsequent meltdowns by all of the right-wing grifters is kind of fantastic. It's funny seeing people like Tim Pool, coming out full-throatedly supporting Trump when Tim Pool is supposed to be, he's supposed to be the reasonable, down the middle guy when when Trump got convicted, he tweeted "war," full stop, and then like an AI generated picture of Trump in like a cowboy outfit, saying that Trump is the first outlaw president, which makes him look cool, and so Trump is good now. So I mean, basically, Tim's a grifter and has always been a far right lunatic. But anyway, here's this this meme that I found here on the Right Can't Meme, which I'm banned from. I believe I was banned from there a while back. I think they said because I was supporting Vacho. Vicerone, which I don't really. I know who this guy is, and I know that he's like a left wing debate guy, but I've never watched any of his stuff, and I don't really know that much about him. So it was kind of weird to me that they banned me for supporting this guy. But anyway, so I can see their stuff on this subreddit, but I can't post anything or reply to stuff, but I can still see stuff. So here on this meme, the left, how can you support a felon? So this is part of the Trump discourse. The Trump, how can you support a felon? So Trump has been convicted of a number of felonies. I can't tell you exactly what they all are, but he was guilty on all 34 charges, which is kind of hilarious, which makes him a felon. And the right wing person here is equating that to support of George Floyd, who was murdered by Derek Chauvin, as he knelt on his neck for like 10 minutes and murdered him. My first reaction is, how can you be this fucking stupid? Because like the equivalence just doesn't exist there. Because in this meme, support here means support for president, is to continue supporting and voting for a man to become president. Not just kind of, he's a nice guy. I like this guy. It's not just a casual support. It's a support to elect a man to the highest office in the land. So that's kind of dishonest to begin with. But I mean, I'm saying this. I'm picking apart a right-wing meme. Of course, it's going to be stupid. But in the car with a Republican side, you're in the car with a Republican. Great, I'm here for it. I feel like I need my glasses. I'm sort of squinting a little bit. And as a side note, the reason they've got a cross through the right wing can't meme, or the right can't meme, and maybe some other left wing subreddits have started putting things through their memes, because right wing people have been coming here and taking the memes and using them, which is kind of funny. If I do say, I think that's kind of funny. Anyway, but the support for George Floyd is being opposed to murder. It's a very odd thing. I mean, like, there's been this like right wing discourse for a long time that since George Floyd was murdered, that the left has gone all in on this guy, and that there's all these kind of like smear campaigns to try and smear George Floyd as a criminal. Because he robbed places, or because he had fentanyl in his system, or something. Amber Wolf, thanks for coming. So nice to have you here. It's weird not seeing your little wolfy avatar, but thanks for coming. So there's this, full-throated support of Derek Chauvin, the guy who murdered George Floyd, and then the subsequent how can you be supportive of this guy who was a drug addict and a criminal and da-da-da, ignoring all the systemic racism that the systemic issues that lead to minority people becoming criminals. All that sort of stuff. There's things to do with higher rates of crime and impoverished areas and all that sort of stuff because people don't have food and la da 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 da. But anyway, ignoring all that stuff, you've got a guy who's been murdered by a police cop. So, I mean, ignoring the systemic racism, you can't really, because the whole thing is because of systemic racism that this guy was murdered. So, it's not really it's not the same thing. I know I'm preaching to a choir here or arguing with a brick wall, but it's just so stupid. It's so dumb and stupid. And I mean, of course, the right wing are going to support Trump as a felon because they've supported him as a rapist and a pedophile and a piece of shit and a racist and a transphobe and a bigot and a Nazi apologist forever. So of course they're not going to care if he's a fucking criminal as well. So it's depressing. I suppose it just makes the lesser of two evils thing. You've got the lesser of two evils, one being like incredibly evil, and the other one just being a normal amount of evil. Supporting genocide and all that nonsense. Hey, geek, thanks for joining. You should join. You should join our Discord. For those of you who are in the chat. Some random geek has been a friend and a supporter since I did YouTube stuff back in the day when I was hanging out with Christy Winters and Kevin Logan, and as a result, is a mod on my channel here, which is kind of cool. So they should be added to our Discord. I don't know how we can do it. I think on Twitter, I'll get someone to send you an invite. You could join the Discord. That'd be real cool. Anyway, next. My good friend Libs of TikTok, who had me blocked. This was a funny thing. When I got banned again on Twitter, I created a new account real quick called Lord Aslan III, and that only lasted a couple of days. But I managed to rack up about 400 followers, which was kind of cool. But one of the first things someone said to me was, "You're no longer blocked by Libs of TikTok anymore." And I was like, "I know, it's weird. What am I going to do? Because I've been blocked by Libs of TikTok for so long. I'll be able to see her stuff again." It was going to be really weird. I kind of forget that for a bit that I'm blocked by. So I'm blocked by Libs of TikTok, Jordan Peterson, Matt Walsh, Peter Boghossian, a whole bunch of like really high profile bigots. And so I miss out on a lot of their stuff. And, so I only really see their tweets through other people. Some of the other high profile left wing peeps that I followed and potentially followed me as well would often tweet about these people. And whether that's because I don't know whether they were blocked as well and they were just using some, like an alt or whatever. There you go. So, yeah, some random geek on Twitter with 2 E's. Hopefully we can sort that out. I'll message the mods in the Discord and we can get you added. That'll be dope. So, yeah, anyway. And I see them on the subreddit as well. Toilet Paper USA, one of my favorites. I think initially dedicated to like memes created about the Turning Point USA people, so like Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens and all those sort of dorks. But they kind of expanded as more right-wing grifters became more apparent, and a lot of the time now, it's just making fun of the stupid things they say. So here we have Libs of TikTok, Jay Rajcik, awful, terrible, horrific person who inexplicably has one of the biggest platforms on Twitter and has the ear of people like Ron DeSantis. I just saw a picture of her hanging out with Elon Musk, this kind of thing. I can't tell if Elon. I mean, I know that Elon is a awful bigot as well, but I wonder whether he's just, like. There's been people being like, "Oh, I wonder how long it is before Chaya Rajcik and Elon Musk get together." Chaya Rajcik, her husband or like her fiance maybe left her because she's a hateful bigot. So yeah, I got quite a few real good blocks on Twitter, and it was always fun to realize what it was that that got me blocked by those people. So I can distinctly remember Libs of TikTok specifically, like this account, blocked me because I tweeted at her a couple of times, a news article of a cis woman grooming and raping a child, a teenage boy or something like that. And I was saying, hey, I'm excited to hear your take on this. And she blocked me. I can't remember exactly what it was that Chaya Raichik's account blocked me for. But it was potentially something similar. Hey, Lucy. Thanks for joining us. Just saw you there in the chat as well. Jordan Peterson, I think it was potentially because of the milk porn fetish that I potentially tweeted. I can't remember exactly what it was. I'd written it down because people had asked me about this before. Matt Walsh, it was because I made a meme about him talking about young girls' genitals and how we have to inspect them. So that was funny. I kind of it makes me laugh because they all do put on these brave personas, and that there's always this kind of lingering like debate bro thing about these people that they're like, yeah, we go our discourse and we can stand up to any criticism, blah 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 blah. But that just never there was. First of all, I never got any response from these people, but they obviously knew that they obviously knew I existed because they blocked me. Unless they were using some bot thing, I suppose. But for ages, I never got blocked by Matt Walsh for a very, very long time until I got some viral tweets about making fun of how he's a pedophile. Anyway, Libs of TikTok here. A new LGBTQ runaway and homeless shelter is opening in Syracuse, New York, for LGBTQ plus kids for ages 12 to 17 who want to run away from their home because their parents won't affirm their gender. How is this legal? Alejandro Garcia. I love how they always lie by omission, or they always use like buzz phrases and stuff to talk about this stuff without being honest. Because if Libs of TikTok said, a new LGBT runaway homeless shelter in Syracuse open for LGBTQ kids who have been are continually abused by their parents, that wouldn't work. So they have to use this don't affirm their gender fucking weasel words that they do. So sure, I mean, it's like the whole getting jailed for misgendering thing, getting the right wing getting all up in arms and talking about how they these discrimination laws, I'm going to get thrown in jail if I misgender someone. No. You'll get thrown in jail maybe not even thrown in jail, or given a fine or something or other if you continually and purposefully harass people. That's normal. That's normal in a civilized society. Don't be an abusive, harassing piece of shit, and you'll be fine. You're not going to get thrown in jail or fined or whatever if you accidentally misgender someone one time. Just like with this, if you are the parents of a child and you accidentally misgender them one time or whatever. That's but if you continually for an ongoing period of time continue to abuse and cause psychological damage to your child, then the kid's probably not going to want to be and having a place where the kid can go if they don't have anywhere else to go, that's a good thing. So and as the thing says, protect the children, motherfuckers, when people want to protect children. Exactly. So, having a place to go when a child doesn't feel safe in their home, that's a good thing, Chaya, actually. And this was something else that someone pointed out the other day. It's very funny because Chaya doesn't have kids or a family, and she is continually commenting on other people's families and kids and all that sort of stuff. Something that she has no experience in because she's a hateful bigot who doesn't have any kids or husband or anything like that because her husband left her because she's a hateful bigot. So, yeah. Yeah, so this is something I was kind of reflecting on, Lucy. People like, you've got Libs of TikTok. There's another person coming up soon, the Garbage Human, who have got these massive followings of people. And they're just, first of all, they're so stupid. Like, watching Chaya Raichik debate Taylor Lorenz, like, she's a moron. She's an absolute idiot. I just find it very difficult to understand how they have such massive followings. It makes me lose my faith in humanity a lot, because that you've got such a massive following, and that means that these people that are following are just as stupid or even more stupid. It's anyway. Don't want to get into that. Anyway, I'm going to go to the next thing. See you later, Chaya. You suck a big one. Actually, you don't, because you've got no family or husband. Here we go. Matt Walsh, my best buddy, Matthias Walshius the Fourth, and End Wokeness, who actually, you know what, I can kind of credit End Wokeness with, I suppose my quote unquote rise to fame on Twitter. I gained a lot of followers because of a series of viral tweets that I made about End Wokeness, basically making fun of the fact that he was just getting upset at colours and black people and this and that. So I had quite a few, quite a few followers from that, and that kind of snowballed after a while. The other one was Ollie London. I got a very, very, very viral tweet from calling Ollie London a racist, which was great. Fun fact about Matt Walsh. Excuse me. Welcome to the chat, everybody. It's good to have you here. Yeah, the skirt that she had on, it looked like one single pant leg. It was a crime against humanity. Fun fact about Matt Walsh: when I was younger, in my early 20s, I suppose, I was one of these kind of hardcore atheist kind of types that you might remember from the early days of the internet, and I used to argue a lot with Christians and Christians who were kind of friends of mine in real life. It was interesting. We would have spirited debate on the Facebook, and one of the guys that they kept going back to, with presenting I suppose evidence for their claims or whatever, was Matt Walsh. His blog, his original blog, the Matt Walsh blog. Well, there you go, Matt Walsh blog. I don't know, you can point. Wait, hold on. Wait, if I point like this, right, point like that, and then go whoop. Matt Walsh. Oh, now I can do this. Matt Walsh blog. Just arrow. Oh, that's shiny. There we go. Over there. Matt Walsh blog. He had, or still has. I don't know if it's still online or whether he still posts to it, because he does his fucking Daily Wire thing now. But he had that blog. It was someone else, so I always remember him being an awful, terrible person. So it was kind of weird to see him kind of rise to fame in this way, because he was always kind of a fringe sort of dude. And now his awful opinions are out there for everybody to see. Anyway, so here's Matt Walsh. So this was some temper tantrums, as we can see here, from Matt Walsh after Trump was convicted again of 34 guilty counts, felony counts, which is still astounding to me. All 34 counts guilty. There was this great video that they played on like, I don't know, Seth Meyers or something, and of the reporter just being like, count 1, guilty, count 2, guilty, count 3, guilty, count 4, guilty, count 5, guilty, and just going through every one of them. It was great. Very cathartic. Anyway, okay, so Trump found guilty on all 34 counts in a sham trial where the result was preordained before the jury even selected. A total travesty of justice. They've got no evidence for any of these claims. This is just their feelings they're upset because their guy was convicted of criminal stuff because he's a criminal. And preordained before the jury was even selected. I mean, that makes sense because he is a criminal. So, yeah, I suppose. One of the darkest days for our country. Whoa! I mean, there was that whole slavery thing. The native genocide. I mean, more recently, there was 9/11. That was a thing. What else? I mean, there was COVID. A million people died. I suppose that wasn't one day, but that's, there was COVID. There was the birth of Matt Walsh. These are all terrible, terrible events. Dark days in the history of the country. No. But this one particular day where a criminal is found guilty of his crimes, dark day. It's the darkest day. Cry more, you fucking fascists. Here we go. Matt Walsh again. Justice has been effectively dead for a while in this country. Today was its funeral. This will be overturned on appeal, but nothing can truly undo the travesty that has just occurred. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Justice has effectively been dead for a while in this country. What? Like, I don't understand what he's referring to there. Like, is it have there been other like high profile cases that Matt followed? That, I mean, maybe he's talking about like Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton or Obama or whatever not being convicted of crimes, because they got the whole locker up thing, Hunter Biden thing, Joe Biden, them never being prosecuted or whatever. Maybe that's how justice has been effectively dead for a while. But it's also funny if you think on the flip side, you've got for a long time, since the beginning of kind of Black Lives Matter and stuff, and before that, but since Black Lives Matter kind of brought to the consciousness of the nation and then also the world this the systemic injustice that embodied by the police. There's been a call for justice reform in the United States, particularly things to do with, is it the 13th Amendment or the 18th Amendment, the one that effectively allows slavery in jail or in prison? The disproportionate amount of Black American people in prisons. The disproportionate amount of people killed by police officers. All these kinds of things. He's not talking about that stuff, and in fact has been in favor of all that stuff. But no, now that the rich white guy, someone just mentioned Alex Jones. Yes, Alex Jones could be the thing. I did also hear that Steve Bannon is going to be serving some time in prison as well, like 4 months or something, for his role. Or it was for refusing to testify in the January 6th case or something. So like being held in contempt of court, which is fantastic. 13th Amendment. Thanks, Geek. I forget which. Sometimes I forget what your crazy country gets up to. But yeah, so it is kind of silly. So when he's talking about justice being effectively dead, he's not talking. He doesn't live in reality. He just doesn't. It's absolutely insane. But he's also signaling to a lot of his followers and stuff who agree with him. Congratulations to Donald Trump on winning the 2024 presidential election. This has been a meme for a while, I suppose. Like ever since Donald Trump, I suppose, began running for president, there's been this kind of meme or this thing from the right wing that the more that Trump is persecuted or prosecuted or shown for the awful person that he is, the bigot, the liar, the racist, the sex offender, the friend of Jeffrey Epstein, the criminal, all these kinds of things. The more that he's exposed for those things, the more people are going to vote for him. And I mean, I was watching Sam Cedar, Majority Report recently, and I suppose they made a pretty good point, is the fact that, yes, this will motivate the people who were already going to vote for Trump to vote for Trump. But that doesn't mean that he's going to get more votes. It just means that the people who were already motivated are even more motivated. You're not going to get like your random person or anyone who voted for Biden or who votes Democrat is not going to suddenly be like, you know what, got to vote for Trump now because he's a criminal. That doesn't seem likely. So, this whole idea that because Trump has been convicted and is now a felon, that he will win the election because of that, I don't know. That doesn't seem, Trump convicted on all accounts for the felony crime of running for re-election. No. I mean, this is so dumb. This is just a big old, he's having a bit of a tantrum. A former president and current presidential candidate just convicted of 34 felony charges, but you can imagine fucking Matt Walsh just sitting at his desk, furiously typing, just fucking liberal tears, motherfucker. I can just, it kind of is kind of funny that this is, he's just having a big old whinge fest. Convicted of 34 felony charges by a jury of his political opponents during an election year based on a novel legal theory where the underlying alleged crime was never clearly explained and without requiring the jury to even reach a unanimous conclusion about it. This was the very definition of a show trial. I mean, all that's a lie. I mean, I saw something about this whole unanimous conclusion thing. It was, as far as I remember, it was something to do with the fact that they had to be unanimous on the fact that he committed election fraud, but the pathways to get there could differ. I think that was the thing. I remember watching like a thing. I wanted to use my actual keyboard, but I didn't want to I could, maybe if I put my thing over here. Here we go. Oh, shit. Oh, God. You see, I didn't want that to happen. All right, come back. Here we go. There we go. That was dumb. Anyway, I saw a thing about it it was on the Majority Report. They were talking about it, and because these guys have been complaining about how they think that they've changed the rules of how a jury works to make it so that Trump will get convicted or whatever, which is horseshit. That didn't happen. They just have to lie. They're all just lying. And that the alleged crime was never clearly explained. Yes, it was. I mean, you can probably Google this very, very easily, but I'm not going to because it's a waste of time. Because Matt Walsh is an idiot. Trump is not black, not a Democrat, not a violent criminal, so he really had no chance of being acquitted in the New York City court. Oh my God, he's such a racist. It's just like white aggrievement. Oh, only black people and Democrats can get off on the... Oh, Jesus Christ. I guarantee if I Googled the amount of black people in New York jails or New York prisons, it would be astronomically more than white people. So... Anyway, just one more of these. I think there's a fucking heap of them. Thank God nobody actually followed through with the lock-her-up chance and charged Hillary with any crimes. If we'd strayed outside of the norms like that, Democrats might have done something drastic when they took power. Think of the norms. Always protect the norms. I don't even know what he's talking about here. But I do know that there's, there've been things about... memes going around of Republicans being like, if you lock up Trump, then we're going to have to investigate the other presidents. And it's like... Okay, do that. That'd be great. Obama sure did kill a lot of innocent people with drone strikes. Oh, Jesus. Okay, that's enough of crybaby Matt Walsh. Next, Jordan Peterson. Okay, so this is an interesting one. I saw this pop up. So this is on the Jordan Peterson subreddit. Jordan Peterson has 6 million followers on Twitter, which is inexplicable to me because he's such an idiot. he's so dumb, and so much of what he says is just it's like it's just a word. It's word salad is basically what it is. But it's like, you know, it's like the modern art that right wingers complain about all the time, that you can't decipher when you look at it, because it's like this. It's like and you can interpret it in so many different ways because it depends who looks at it and what angle you look at it, and it's not, you know, because it's not neatly defined in the thing, but like. So it's just open to interpretation, but it's just like throwing a bunch of paint at her. And so I feel that's what Jordan Peterson's words are. He just says a bunch of stuff, so much stuff, that anybody could interpret it in a multitude of different ways, but ultimately it's meaningless. Which in that sense, it's not really comparable. Is not really comparable to modern art, I suppose, because modern art does have meaning. Some of that meaning is to annoy right-wingers. Yeah, Jordan Peterson is a dumb person's idea of a smart man. He really, really is. And the only reason he's famous is because he was transphobic. And he is transphobic, but I mean, like, he was publicly transphobic, you know, and that went viral, and then a bunch of people were like, that's my man! Right there, that bigot. That's gonna be my guy. And so now, you know, I'm going to be fair him for a second, and I know that you don't got to hand it to people like Jordan Peterson, because, I mean, it's not really even his idea. I'm going to give it to Marie Kondo instead. Clean your room. I cleaned my room today, and it feels great. It is. It feels really nice. Your space is a little cleaner. It's a little bit more organized. It obviously doesn't look like it right now because of all of this, but I vacuumed and I wiped things down, and it feels nice, and it feels good for my brain, and that's good. And so that's not a Jordan Peterson idea, so fuck him. I'm not going to give it to him. I'm going to give it to Marie Kondo instead. Thanks, Marie Kondo. You nailed it. Yes, trying to hit a word count in an essay, exactly. So I'm trying to keep up with chat as well as my endless word vomit. I talk about how Peterson word vomits all over the place, but I do as well. I got this great book. Hold on, 1 second. Shout out to this author here, Chanel Moriah. This is backwards. I wonder if I can spin that around. Hold on. Flip horizontal. Doink. There we go. Hey. I got this great book about ADHD because, well, you can put, yeah. I got this great book about ADHD because my mum thought that I was ADHD, and turns out that I am. No, don't be quiet. Keep talking. It's good. I love it. It's just I can't keep up with lots of things. Anyway, the point was that I looked in this book, and it's a really gorgeous little book about ADHD and about the symptoms and various things that kind of go along with it. And I was looking through it, and I was just like, yep, that's me. That's me. Yep, that's me. That's me. But the first couple of these things, interrupting people, managing interruptions, volume control. I definitely have problems with volume control. But here we have talking fast. That's me. And then also excessive talking. It's got me pegged. So yeah. But I recommend this book. I do recommend getting this. She's they potentially, sorry, I don't mean to misgender. They've written this book and done all the illustrations and stuff. A New Zealand author. And it's just a really lovely book. It's kind of a workbook, as you can see. It says it's an interactive and informative guide. So it's got like spaces for you to, like, you know, little tick boxes and stuff that you can tick with what things kind of you experience. You know, got like bits here where you can write notes about the different things and stuff like that. And it's got, you know, ways to help kind of manage some of the symptoms of ADHD and things like that. So it's a good book. Can recommend. Go and support a lovely New Zealand author. Anyway, point was that I also talk a lot, but I hope that my talking makes a lot more sense than Mr. Peterson here. Anyway, Mr. Peterson, tyrants use fear to obtain compliance. So this is someone here popping this on the Jordan Peterson subreddit, and this is a tweet by Jordan Peterson. Remember how fast COVID vanished when the lockdown tyrants lost their grip? ? I do. What? Jordan? What? What the fuck are you talking about? What? I mean, like, it just makes me think that these people don't live in the same reality as us. And I also hate that framing. I hate the us and them kind of thing. It really bothers me, but it's so ingrained in my language, unfortunately. But when I say them, I mean these right wing grifters, far right morons, Nazis, all those kinds of people. They don't exist in the same reality. They've constructed this reality around them, which allows them to be eternally upset about stuff. It's so funny because, for the longest time there's all this like snowflake and a victimhood thing, and they still go on about how the left is the victimhood and snowflakes and it's so triggered, all that sort of stuff. But these people are constantly aggrieved, constantly upset about stuff that doesn't happen, and that's kind of the difference, I suppose, as well. It's like it's one thing to exist as for example, exist as an LGBTQ person who is having their rights stripped away within their country, watching people being harassed and abused and with legitimate grievance because powerful people are trying to strip their rights away, are continuing their marginalization and discrimination within a cis-heteronormative society. That's one thing. On the other hand, you've got someone like Jordan Peterson, who is a straight, white, cis, rich as fuck, powerful person, constructing this reality where COVID is some sort of construct that wasn't a thing, so it could just be pulled away when the tyrants lost their grip. It's bizarre. Anyway, point is that I got some things about this. Oh, well, so hold on. Where's the okay, so here's this is Our World in Data, which is a website that has like world maps, and you can look at data on the world. Hence the name, Our World. Hold on, there we go. We're going to Our World in Data. Hence Our World in Data. So that's that. But anyway, so this is COVID deaths, bi-weekly confirmed COVID-19 deaths, and you can kind of drag the thing, and it'll tell you, depending on the date, the deaths from COVID. So here, back in January 17th, 2020, nothing. Oh wait, no, hold on. There's one death in China. There you go. None over here. None over here. None over here. New Zealand, fucking kicking it down there. But then you can zoot forward, and you can see the colors will change depending on the severity and the numbers of deaths in whatever country. So you can see here in Brazil, there was quite a few deaths during March 2021, April 2021, got up quite high. In the United States, you can see there's kind of three big peaks there. During the I suppose the surges of COVID, and then as we get towards where we are now, beginning of 2024. I mean, even at the beginning of 2024, look at that. May. Wait, is that? No, sorry. This is January 6th. So the beginning of 2024, you've still got 4,159 deaths from COVID. I mean, that's not an insignificant number, right? I mean, I know that America has 300 million people or something, but 4,000 people dying, that still seems like a lot to me. I mean, I don't know. But, I mean, to me it does. So Jordan Peterson would be like, it's probably just old people and, kids. This is another, I remember I watched this thing where they were talking about, like, kids' deaths from COVID, and it's like, over the period of time, there was like historically, over the time that since COVID has been affecting us, in America, there's been something like 1,800 children die from COVID. And I mean, 1,800 kids, or so 1,800 deaths is not a lot in the grand scheme of things. And you've got what, 4 years, 300 million people, but that's still 1,800 dead children who could have experienced the fullness of life, dead. How can you think of that and be like, it was worth it? But that's what these people are okay with when they're saying that COVID wasn't such a big problem. They were just using it as a a tool for oppression. Fuck off. Okay, so Jordan Peterson here saying, in his thing saying, how fast COVID vanished when the lockdown tyrants lost their grip. So when was that, Jordan? Was that here in America when there was 14,000 deaths in this one, and it's over a 2-week period. So 14,000 deaths over a 2-week period. Was that when it vanished, or was it here? Oh no, slightly before that. Where so March 2020. That's 22,000 deaths in a 2-week period. And I mean, even if you go to today, so May 19th, we've got nearly 500 deaths in a 2-week period who are dying from COVID. I mean, and that's not to mention long COVID, and all these, just so many things. But yeah, it's COVID's vanished. I mean, it looks like it's vanished in quite a few other places in the world. But America just didn't fucking do anything about it. That's what frustrates the shit out of me. That on one hand, you got these people being like, they were locking us down, and we had our rights stripped away and our freedoms, and on the other hand, but in reality, that didn't really happen, and that's why so many fucking people died. I'm not sure of the total number in America, but it's a lot. So yeah, so that's the one thing. And then there was another thing that I noticed on this particular post. There was someone here. Someone commented underneath, COVID magically disappeared during any of the Black Lives Matters, mostly peaceful riots as well. It's just the most insane bullshit. But I pulled up some. So there was this article here that I found from June in 2020. Where they talk about how the health professionals, there's 1,000 health professionals signed a letter to say not to shut down the protests, because they thought that basically it was saying that we created the letter in response to emerging narratives that seem to malign demonstrations as risky for public health because of COVID-19. According to the letter writers, many of those whom were University of Washington's Division of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Instead, we wanted to present a narrative that prioritizes opposition to racism as vital to public health, including the epidemic response. We believe that the way forward is not to suppress protests in the name of public health, but to respond to protesters' demands in the name of public health, thereby addressing multiple public health crises. So that was the first thing. So, I mean, this is to do with, intersectionalism in the sense that, public health is directly linked to systemic racism. The disproportionate way that COVID-19 affected marginalized communities and all that sort of stuff. But, it also saying that it's important to be able to exercise the right to protest, to fight for the freedoms of marginalized communities and marginalized people, even when this pandemic is happening. Now, obviously, there's got to be precautions made. And as you can see from a lot of these photos as well, people are masking. They're in open spaces, outside in open spaces. They're probably trying. I mean, there's a lot of congestion in a lot of these, but they're all masked, which is kind of cool. But what they say, so in this next article that I found, that it's the difference between outdoor organizing and cramming people indoors together. So this is a Vox article, the effects of Black Lives Matter protests on coronavirus cases explained. The coronavirus cases are increasing, but Black Lives Matter protests may not be to blame. So they say here, demonstrations nearly a month later, COVID-19 diagnoses are climbing, hitting an all-time high on Thursday, with the US arguably in the midst of the second wave of coronavirus cases. But multiple analysis suggests that the protests are not to blame. According to what we know so far, initial data reported by the Wall Street Journal and BuzzFeed found no uptick in COVID-19 cases in cities with major protests. And a recent working paper published in the National Bureau of Economic Research found that there was no significant divergence in the COVID-19 trends after the protests in counties with protests and those without. There really hasn't been an overwhelming amount of data to say we saw spikes as a result of protests. But then, so what is causing the recent uptick in COVID-19 cases, which led to US hitting high numbers of daily cases ever this week? Well, the other thing is, just real quick on that, you've got masking, you've got vaccinations. The people at these protests are more likely to be vaccinated. So, that's going to help. And also, just general hygiene, which they would take from the suggestions of public health experts, as opposed to all the people who wouldn't be doing that, which are the right-wing weirdos who wouldn't be at these protests. So, it's makes a lot of sense to me. Here we go. Experts pointed to states reopening, particularly allowing indoor gatherings at bars, restaurants, barbershops, workplaces, and so on, in which coronavirus is more likely to spread. Studies show that previous measures to close down such gatherings likely helped lower COVID-19 cases. So that's the thing. There's all these pushes to open back up and get businesses running again and all that sort of shit. That's when you get people crammed into tight indoor spaces where COVID is more likely to spread. So no, whoever commented there, COVID magically disappeared during any of the Black Lives Matter protests. No, that didn't happen. It's just the insanity of these people. I just can't. I can't. Anyway, I'm going to move on from the COVID thing. Let's get out of there. What do we got? This was funny. I saw this the other day. Now, I've always known that Candace Owens was a conspiracy theorist because she's done the moon landing thing. She's been questioned about. She's always talked about weird conspiracy shit, and it makes sense because she's a fucking nut job. But here she is saying that she doesn't think that dinosaurs existed. Which, again, is kind of par for the course for these Christian fundamentalist extremists. I imagine if you asked Matt Walsh, he would probably also. Oh, actually, you know what? I think Matt Walsh might be an old Earth creationist. Now that I think about it, maybe. But yeah, so it's kind of par for the course for someone like Candace Owens, who is a fundamentalist religious person, to think that dinosaurs didn't exist. To be fair, there is that exhibit. I don't know if it's on, if it's at the Ark exhibit where they have people riding dinosaurs. Don't know. But there are some religious people who try to massage dinosaurs and biblical creationism. But it's kind of funny that that Candace thinks that dinosaurs didn't exist. And I got a pretty good comment in here somewhere. Oh, did I? Well, I commented at some point. I said, "Oh, here we go. There's me. Dinosaurs are so cool. Why would you want to believe they don't exist?" It's true. Why would you want to? Dinosaurs are the best. I was obsessed with dinosaurs when I was a kid. So much so that I wanted to be a paleontologist. That was my thing when I was a kid. I wanted to be a paleontologist because I thought dinosaurs were rad, and I still think dinosaurs are pretty rad. But Candace Owens is a wet blanket, so no, can't have any dinosaurs. Next, what's next? Libs of TikTok again. Hello, Chaya. How you doing? What do we got here? They sent pro-lifers to prison. Okay, I should. This is so. This is in response to Steve Bannon. So Steve Bannon has been ordered to surrender to prison by July 1st. Judge Nichols has revoked his bail. So first of all, that's hilarious that Steve Bannon has to go to prison. It's so good. And I don't know if this is to do with, because there was another thing. There was like a scheme that happened that he headed called Build the Wall, or We Build the Wall, or something like that, where he crowdfunded a bunch of money to help pay for the wall in the on the southern border of America. But he basically funneled a bunch of money out of that for his own personal stuff, basically defrauding all the people who gave money. And he was being He was in a trial for that. I don't think this is that, though. I think this is to do with, like I said before, him being held in contempt of court because he didn't want to testify in the January 6th trials or something like that. Anyway, here's Libs of TikTok saying they sent pro-lifers to prison. Now they're sending Bannon to prison. Then they're going to send Trump to prison. Realize where we're at. We're at some criminals being put in jail for being criminals and doing crimes. Sorry, Chaya. It just means that you can't be a criminal. I mean, it's on one hand, I'm like, yeah, this is so rare that was why I was surprised when 34 counts were all, he was found guilty on 34 counts, because it's like, it's so rare that a rich white guy like this will face any repercussions for their crimes. And it's still to be seen how Trump will be sentenced, whether he'll have house detention or something like that. And it still seems that he can fucking run for president, which is pretty fucking dumb as well. But the fact that these convictions have even gone through like this is like, what the fuck? This is crazy. This never happens. So the fact that she's like, it's a Banana Republic. I'll talk about that in a second. There's this whole thing about banana republics. It's just, again, they don't live in reality. She's acting as if like all these innocent people are being thrown in jail. And so here you go. Gunther Eagleman, who is someone I've ratioed quite a few times on Twitter as well. He's a fucking moron. They're coming for all of us. And Lives of TikTok says, yep. I mean, I think it'd be great if they went after Chaya Raichik, because she was a January 6th rioter. She's photographed at the January 6th riots, so trying to overthrow the democratically elected government. So in that sense, she's certainly part of that conspiracy. She also has inspired bomb threats against children's hospitals, and in a very real way contributed to an overall perpetuation of transphobia within America, which has led to the deaths of trans people and gay people. She might not be directly responsible for that stuff, but her power and her reach are definitely contributors to that. And I don't know if it's not really something you can convict someone of, I suppose, but it would be funny to see her go down for something like the January 6th thing. But the idea that but what they're really getting at is if they go after Trump, they can go after you too. And it's like, well, no, I'm not a criminal, so I think I'll be fine. This is what I suppose is what this person said. Do you understand what this means? If you break the law, you can end up in prison. How could they do this? Unless the other thing is whether they are using the they in that sentence the way that they normally do. So yeah, Libs of TikTok. To be fair though, isn't Chaya Raichik Jewish? I think. Yeah, she has inspired so much hate. She's just, yeah, I know. But she's Jewish, right? So, like, she wouldn't be engaging in these they conspiracy things, right? But this Gunther guy might definitely be. It's funny that the people that they anyway. There's another Libs of TikTok one. I was just laughing at the subtitle here. Cheo was crowned most likely to be a stochastic terrorist. Sorry, I was doing the Tucker Carlson thing where he pretends to not know how to say stochastic. He's like, stochastic terrorists. And okay, Tucker, you're a journalist. You should know how to pronounce words properly. Anyway, so here, Libs of TikTok is upset that a trans person won a beauty contest. Another thing to add to the list of things that trans people are inherently good at and better at than everybody else. If you're trans, you're now just better at being pretty. So good job, trans people. You nailed it. So Bailey Ann, a man who pretends to be a woman, was just crowned Miss Maryland USA. Bailey hopes this accomplishment. What has Chaya Raichik ever accomplished in her life besides being a hateful fucking piece of shit? Or inspiring bomb threats at Children's Hospital. What has she ever accomplished in her life? That's the thing about all these fucking wankers on these, these social media, like Ben Shapiro or whatever, who are always talking about, you need to get a job and work, and but Matt Walsh being like, there's lazy bloody immigrants coming over here and it's like, you guys do nothing for a job. You sit in front of a computer and whinge and cry about brown people all day and trans people and earn millions of dollars because peace, calm. What have they ever done? What has Chaya Raichik ever done except stumbled upon some misplaced fame? I just want to real quick go ahead and Google Bailey Ann, because I would like to see. Oh, yeah, Miss Maryland 2024. Let's have a look. Damn, she is pretty. Holy crap. How, like, seriously, like, this is one of my new kind of, I suppose, rhetorical tactics that I've been using against transphobes, is that, and to some degree, I get, the way that they will respond to this is that I am, I suppose, kind of reinforcing beauty standards in a way. And I suppose what I'm doing is that I'm using, because you have to think a certain way to believe the thing that I'm saying. So what I would say is, how can you look at this person? If you look at this person and think, that's a man, you're not being a serious person. Like, there's just... by what definition do you look at this person and think, that's a man? And yeah, it's potentially problematic in some ways, but also I don't think that really fucking matters, because, transphobes... they are grounded in these kinds of aesthetic judgments, right? Like, their whole project is to rigidly enforce standards of beauty, standards of aesthetic standards, which define men and women into two different distinct categories. And to some degree, we operate within a society that that permeates, right? We do to some degree, and if for better or for worse, it's kind of it is frustrating because but we are steeped within a culture that kind of has these two broad categories, I suppose. But there are some people that just, I mean, to be fair, she could identify as a man, as this is the difference between sex and gender as well, and gender presentation. There's all these subtleties. There's all these things to it that that can be thought of and discussed. But like, if this person says to me, hi, my name's Bailey, and I'm a woman. I'm not going to be like, no, you're not. You were born as a man. It makes no sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, and it serves no function other than to just be an asshole. And that's all that Chaya Raichik is doing, is being an asshole. Like, I mean, there's all this stuff that's couched, the whole protecting women thing, protecting women's spaces, but like, how is this person a danger to anybody? Because they were born a different they were assigned a different gender at birth, and now they are living their authentic self. That somehow makes them a danger to women. I mean, Chaya has, again, she's couched it in this whole, like, stealing women's accomplishments. So you go, stealing the achievements of real women. There was a really good comment. Someone was like, yeah, here we go. Yeah, man. I mean, if I'm a man in a bodybuilding competition and a trans man wins, that's on me 100%. And like, yeah, that's on you, bro. I'm sorry, Chaya Raichik, that you aren't more beautiful than this trans person, than this person, Bailey, because, I mean, you're kind of telling on yourself there, you fucking ugly sack of shit. Yeah, it's hard. It's tempting. It's always very tempting to use their own tactics against them, and I try not to. But also, like, this is what's frustrating about a lot of this stuff is I mean, I went over all the subtleties and nuances that you could approach this thing with, but that doesn't fit into a tweet. Like, to respond in a quippy and quick to digest kind of way is really difficult to do from a leftist perspective, from a truly leftist perspective, because it requires more than a couple of characters and a meme or whatever, And I suppose that's kind of where the wall of words thing comes from, It can be frustrating. Anyway, that's enough of Chaya fucking dipshit piece of fucking. Good on you, Bailey. You live your fucking best life. What a queen. Look at that. Damn. Just like she's gorgeous. And again, beauty standards and da-da-da-da-da, but, just. And she looks so happy. Just look how happy she looks. I just love it. Look at it. That must be with her mum. Is that her mum? Maybe. I don't know. But it's just like, oh, that's so wholesome. And Chaya Raichik's just sitting on the side there being, I've got no family. My husband left me. We are the Queen of Turfs, J.K. Rowling. Look how sad and old she is. What an awful person. Queen Bailey. Woo! Okay, so here's J.K. Rowling getting 6,500 likes. A male. I hate. I mean, I know that male and female have, they have their uses, those words, but it makes me think of it. If any of you, I don't know if any of you have seen the TV show Friday Night Dinner. It's about this family. They get back together every Friday night, and they have a dinner, and antics ensue. And the dad is always asking one of the boys whether he have you met any females? Have you met any females lately? Any females in your life? It's just like, oh, females. Oh, it just makes me, Anyway, a male friend of mine asked a female friend of mine, a female friend of his, what kind of a woman would be okay cheering on the eradication of single-sex rape shelters, changing rooms, women's sports, etc. She thought for a moment and then said, the girl at the school party who'd snog another girl if the lads were watching. It's that girl. So, what I think she's trying to say is that people who support trans people are, I think it's just the virtue signaling thing. I mean, obviously they're not trying to signal the kissing a girl at a party isn't a virtual signal, but it's a performative thing. It's doing something so that other people will think that you're good. Yeah, it's virtue signaling. That's all she's saying. She's saying that they're virtue signaling. I don't think that LGBTQ people are calling for the eradication of single-sex rape. They say this thing, this is the fucking weasel word, single-sex rape shelters. If you look at the statistics, I'm pretty sure you'll see that trans people are at a higher risk of being sexually assaulted and raped. So the need for rape shelters should not... If you're a rape victim, you should have a place to go. You should have a shelter to go to. That includes men. Men get raped as well and can be victims of rape. I don't know, and I would have to think about it more and potentially look into it. But the fact that you're a victim of rape, it shouldn't matter. I don't think it should matter what gender you are. You should have that space. And being a victim, you're not going to be a threat. I mean, because what they're saying here is that, if there are men in the women's rape shelter, that is a threat to those women by virtue of that person being quote unquote male. That just, I mean, that I could be wrong, but that just rubs me the wrong way, right? Like, why wouldn't you allow... And I honestly, I don't even know how rape shelters... Sorry, I'm talking about some dark shit. So, trigger warning, sorry. I don't know how they operate. It wouldn't just be like a free-for-all. There'd probably be like counselors and stuff and rooms and things, So... the idea of allowing male rape victims into that space, I don't see how that is a threat to females. But maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But this is the thing, is people like J.K. Rowling as well, they think that men or males, they think that having male anatomy inherently makes you a danger to women. Which is deeply fucked up as well. There's a lot of layers, and that's not to say that trans women are male, but that's what they think. And when I had this debate with Artemis and Josh a while back, I was trying to get them to agree to what being trans was, because they would not concede a difference between a cis man and a trans woman. They would not concede any difference between those two things. Despite the many things that I tried to give, I gave them examples of, how trans women are at a higher risk of intimate partner violence as opposed to a much higher risk than cisgender men. That would suggest that there is a material difference between cisgender men and trans women. But they would not concede this. So, when J.K. Rowling says males, she's talking about everyone with a penis, everyone with testicles, everyone with whatever the chromosomal makeup is or whatever. And having those things makes you inherently dangerous to women who have the other thing. This is not to include anyone who is intersex or any of that sort of stuff. Any of these kinds of nuances that go against their ridiculous ideology. But that's what they think. And discounting any kind of social reasoning or causality that could be read from about the socialization of men and toxic masculinity and those kinds of things that result in them being perpetrators of this kinds of violence. You know, discounting all that stuff because that's got nothing to do with it. It's just because you've got a dick. It's the more I think about it, it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, that's fucking nonsense. How get you? What? So yeah, Josh and Ada's stream was something. Anyway, so and then we're going on to changing rooms and women's sports as well, and I think the whole changing rooms and women's sports thing is fucking dumb anyway. You know, I mean, we're just watching this thing about a right wingers talking about women's sports and just not even giving a shit about the actual women's sports. You know, like making fun of cisgender women in sports and poo-pooing their performances and all these kinds of things. So, not actually giving a shit about actual women's sports and not supporting the women's sports and all that sort of stuff, but using it as a fucking wedge issue. Oh, that's what it is a wedge issue to shit on trans people. That's all it is. They don't care about women's sports. They don't care about girls in sports, any of that sort of stuff. They just hate trans people. Changing rooms is another thing. Like, I've never been into a changing room and seen anyone's genitals, because I go into a cubicle because I'm not a fucking weirdo, I mean, sure, you can go into a changing room and you can stand around and get your dick out or whatever, but just go into a cubicle. And then the other side of this, which is something that there's another kind of rhetorical trick that I've used, and more than a rhetorical trick because I think it's true. If a space is defined as any gender within that space, if the changing room is advertised as this is an all-gendered changing space, then going into that space, you are consenting to being in that space with anyone from any gender. So that's on you. That's on you. And then when you go in there, again, I would just go into a cubicle because I'm not a fucking weirdo. But the point is that if it is advertised as an all-gendered space, then you go in there with the full knowledge that you are going to be in that space with any gender. So what's the problem? Yeah, none of their concern is. I know it is. It's not. There's no genuine concern. And you can tell by how they react to all this stuff in other places. I wouldn't be surprised if fucking J.K. Rowling is anti-abortion as well. Garbage Human was suspended from Twitter. I feel like I got something about him so I just wanted to talk about this real quick. Tired Meme Clown and Garbage Human all in 1 month. Yeah, I know. There was just someone who had sent. Oh, okay. So what he actually got suspended for, I kind of wanted to talk about those. There was another one here as well. Yeah, okay, cool. So I want to talk about this real quick. So this was posted on the same subreddit from Garbage Human, who is a Nazi. There's just no other way of putting it. Garbage Human is a Nazi and has been on Twitter for a long time and is awful. Is a Nazi. And so this is one of the memes that they put up. I've just finished another symphony. Picture of Mozart there. Pretty sure it's Mozart, not Beethoven. It's one of the two. And then meanwhile is this caricature of a black person hitting a trunk with a bone and saying shit in the very racist way that he does. So this Nazi here is saying that, I mean... What I wanted to say about this is that I think that this really helps illustrate the close connection that classical music has to white supremacy. I talked about classical music and white supremacy a lot in my thesis to do with its ties to white supremacy. And there's a lot in very subtle ways, but also in very overt ways. For example, this guy called Heinrich Schenker, he is the creator of what is called Schenkerian analysis, which is a form of musical theory analysis, which is still used today in universities and still prized as one of the ways to analyze music. If you're analyzing music, you're taught how to Schenkerionly analyze music at a university level. Schenker was a Nazi, like legitimately praised Hitler, and talked about how his views on music were very similar to his views on race. That there's this kind of natural order of tones that were brought forth in music by the white German genius. So people like Mozart were had the sole ability as the master race to create masterpieces using their white genius to order the tones in the most natural and perfect way. That's what Heinrich Schenker believed, and that is what he read. That is how he founded his musical analysis, and that is deeply ingrained into the Western classical institution. That is part of, and still today, the classical music institution, that this man's work and this man's beliefs and ideals about race and humans and shit, Nazi shit, is ingrained into the classical music institution. Thanks, Lucy. It was really nice to have you here. We'll see you again next time. Is Garbage Human Sargon of Akkad? I don't know how. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Is he? Yeah. But anyway, so I thought that this meme helpfully demonstrated that connection between Nazi white supremacist shit and classical music. The idea that you can signal, the perfection of human creativity and stuff with just this picture of this white guy from Germany or Austria, and say, yes, he's the pinnacle of human creativity. And then you've got this black guy who can't even fucking do it. The amount of amazing, incredible, creative music that is made by black people is astounding. And, I mean, you couldn't name a style of music today that is not heavily influenced or steeped in black American music, for one. Or that black people couldn't create classical music. I could probably search for some. I haven't done that, but it's just it's you have to be an absolute idiot to be a Nazi racist like this. I mean, you just have to be completely ignorant of the entire world. Because when you hear of Garbage Human, you think it's Sargon of Akkad. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. When I hear the words Garbage Human, I also think of Sargon of Akkad. So anyway, so that is one of the things. But they reckon that this might have been what the thing was that he was suspended for. So Garbage Human posted this. Let's face it, rampant black crime is bringing this nation to its knees. If you care about the future of your home, your family, and your race, it's time to strike back. And so you've got like this white guy who looks suspiciously like Matt Walsh. Just seeing that now, being like, that looks like Matt Walsh. Hitting a black guy, a racist caricature of a black man on the head with a crowbar, it looks like. And the black man is, as you can see, they're kind of assaulting this white woman here. So that's Nazi shit. It's Nazi shit. And then someone commented underneath. I can't see it because of my Twitter, but someone commented underneath saying that this comic was in a booklet that KKK members would just throw out into crowds. Like, it's legitimately a KKK piece of propaganda in a little booklet with a whole bunch of fucking Nazi shit in there that they would just throw out into crowds and people could, read them or whatever. That's what this is from. So Garbage Human just outright coming out as a fucking Nazi, which he wasn't hiding it very effectively either. But so he was suspended from Twitter, which is interesting to me, considering that he's got a blue check mark, because they seem to be fucking immune from suspension if you've got the blue check mark, but apparently not. And then second of all, that him, a massive Nazi, would be suspended. Yeah, Hitler did. Considering that Elon Musk is also a Nazi, or a Nazi sympathizer, as some more news will tell you, and that they should be fine on Twitter. Anyway, yeah, cool. All right. So here's another one. This is another a cool subreddit. I quite like this. Clever comebacks. So this is funny. This guy Greg, harmful opinions here. I ratioed him quite a few times on Twitter as well. He's one. I think he's one of these gays against groomers people. I can't remember whether he's actually a gay. One of the gays. I can't remember whether it's him, because there's a bunch of those peeps on there. And is gay, but get rid of the trans, all that sort of stuff. And so this is kind of funny. So it's a pride parade. There's a Cybertruck here, and someone has said, "Uh-oh, muggers are gonna be pissed," because there's someone's rainbowed up their Cybertruck, which is funny. And so Greg, harmful opinions, comes along here and says, private citizens modifying their private property does not upset conservatives. And then Maya Defund the Police McLaughlin has said, private citizens modifying their bodies makes conservatives apoplectic. Apoplectic. Sorry, that was a hard word to say. Which is like, that's such a good comeback. And it's so true. That, it kind of just exposes the whole hypocrisy of conservative, my body, my rights, my freedom and my liberty and all that sort of shit. That they don't even give a shit about that stuff, So I thought that was very funny. So nice job there, Maya. Next, fuck you, Greg. I thought this was funny as well. First of all, this reminded me, this picture of this woman obviously being pleasured here on there. You can see it, this lady. There was a funny picture a while back of Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson sitting across from each other at a table and talking about like pleasuring women or like the female orgasm or something like that. And this picture was in the background. I don't know if it had been superimposed or like photoshopped on there or whatever, but I just remember seeing that picture and it was very funny. Sorry, there's a New York Post article. Study says that women who have more sex have better developed brains. And then this guy, it's rigged. Everyone is entitled to my opinion in the little avatar there, but it's rigged. I'm assuming he's talking about the election. This explains feminism. I assume what he's saying. Hey Matt, thanks for that. Yeah, no, I was banned a couple of weeks back. We are organising a Discord though, or I've got a couple of people there, a couple of good friends on the old Discord, trying to rally support and kind of bolster these streams. Maybe I'm going to try and stream more, and hopefully I'm going to keep appealing. So fingers crossed I might get it worked last time. I got it back last time. Anyway, so this explains feminism. So I'm assuming what this person is saying is that feminists don't get laid, and therefore their brains are smaller, and that's why they are feminists, which is funny for a bunch of things. Yeah, he thinks the female orgasm is rigged too. I'm a feminist. I think feminism is a good thing. I think the liberation of women from underneath a patriarchy is a good thing. There was this thing I saw recently about trad wives, and the fact that, trad wives talking about how they prefer to stay at home and cook for their husband and do laundry and all that sort of stuff. And they're like, and they badmouth feminism. And it's like, well, without feminism, you wouldn't have the choice to do this. You would be forced to do it. But feminism afforded you the autonomy to be able to make that choice. So yeah, no, it doesn't really explain feminism. That's fucking dumb, you idiot. What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't think you've been laid in a very long time. Anyway, next. Yikes. from the Jordan Peterson subreddit. So this is another stupid one, but I wanted to real quick look at this. Yikes, says the Jordan Peterson subreddit contributor on the store. I don't know what that means. On the store. Maybe it's meaning on the stove, but he couldn't spell because he's a Jordan Peterson follower. Anyway, Brian Lilly here is saying, what the hell is a front hole? The Toronto Sun, in response to this Toronto Sun article, Canadian Cancer Society sorry for using cervix instead of front hole for LGBTQ plus community. Now, first of all, seems pretty obvious to me what a front hole is. seems like Brian's telling on himself here. Seems pretty obvious to me. What is a front hole? Come on, Brian. Come on. You know what it is. Surely. Maybe you're just telling on yourself again. And second of all, I went ahead and I wasn't sure about this. I was like, is this actually a thing that people, a phrase that people use? Maybe, because the right wing, they cling to things like the whole misgendering thing or the triggered thing or whatever, and they cling to these single things that they think sound really weird or stupid or whatever, and then they repeat those things over and over again and to try and discredit left-wing stuff, but when in reality they've just taken it out of context or whatever. But anyway, I found the article. Cancer charity sorry after using cervix for transgender community. The Canadian Cancer Society is apologising for using the term cervix on a webpage for transgender and non-binary people assigned female at birth. On the page dedicated to cervical cancer screenings for the members of the LGBTQ community, the charitable organisation explains in a disclaimer they recognise that many trans men and non-binary people may have mixed feelings about or feel distance from words like cervix. Great. Okay, cool. It's good to have more inclusive language. I think that's a good thing. I think that we should be, using words that are more inclusive. More words is better. I like more words. That's the opposite of 1984. When they talk about 1984 all the time, about Newspeak and all that sort of stuff. In 1984, and the goal of Newspeak was to reduce language, to get rid of words from the language, to bring it down to its most essential parts, so that they could control people's thoughts. This is why, this is why I've always thought that the whole 1984 thing is really dumb, because they don't understand. They talk about 1984 when they, in reference to things like adding new genders or whatever, this sort of stuff. And it's like, well, no, that's literally the opposite of what happened in 1984. It makes me continue to think that, no conservative has ever read 1984 because they don't understand it. They continually show that they don't understand it, because in 1984, like I said, it's about reducing the language to control thought, not expanding it by having more words. So here we have more words being added to the language. Sounds great. Love it. If you think that the words are dumb or kind of stupid or whatever, But I mean, again, if you think about it, if they're like, no, you can only use the words male and female and vagina and penis. If they're restricting the language in that way, they, in some sense, are controlling the way that people should be allowed to think and to speak. If that was, if they had their way, there would only be two genders, and you would only be able to use those two. There would be no non-binary and all that sort of stuff. And that is what is analogous to what the party does in 1984, not the opposite of that, which is adding more words to the lexicon or to the dictionary or whatever. So yeah, that is kind of that. Anyway, so basically, yeah, using more inclusive words. The charity acknowledged in the section titled "Words Matter" that some members of the community may prefer to use other terms such as front hole. So, and also this is specifically about a page dedicated to LGBTQ community. So this is not talking about cis women or whatever, and they wouldn't use this kind of terminology for cis women if they did not feel comfortable with that. I mean, this is about using words that make people feel comfortable. So, I imagine that these people would default to cervix or to vagina or whatever, or uterus or whatever, with people or with cisgender women or whatever. But then having more terminology that they can apply to different situations is a good thing, because there is more than just that one thing. Anyway, so words matter. Front hole. Yep. We recognize the limitations of the words we've used while also acknowledging the need for simplicity, the Canadian Cancer Society wrote. Another reason we use words like cervix is to normalize the reality that men can have these body parts too. So, I mean, that's an interesting conversation to have as well. So, they're saying that they were using the word cervix in the context of cervix havers, I suppose, to normalize the fact that men, i.e. trans men, can have a cervix as well, or intersex men, that these are not things that are exclusive to women. And so I think that's kind of interesting. They had this idea. They weren't just blindly using the word cervix. They were using it in a very purposeful way to try and normalize the use of that word for men, which I think is admirable. I think that's really great. But then, it says up the top here that, that they've also taken into it, so they've been made aware of and have started to take into account the fact that some trans men and non-binary people don't feel comfortable with that word. And so they're expanding it to include other things. What's this? The reaction to the disclaimer was swift on social media. If you can't call body parts by their actual names, you don't really deserve to have any role in health or medicine, says Dr. Kim Green Leibowitz. This is pathetic and shameful and disrespectful. It's just nonsense. They're just upset about absolutely nothing. So, yeah. Anyway, so I also did just find a thing. So it looks like, front hole is potentially a thing that people use, but also there's the other one, the bonus hole. Is the one, it's it does. I mean, to me, it sounds kind of goofy, and I probably wouldn't use those terms myself. But if that was something that someone liked, then okay, great, we'll go with that. I also feel like it's kind of adding a bit of maybe this is me just projecting, but I feel like it adds a bit of goofiness. Test. I think it adds a bit of goofiness to the too clinical way that we talk about like body parts and stuff like that, which can be kind of fun if you're talking about having being in a relationship with someone or whatever. You can talk about these things in a bit more of a goofy way, which can be kind of fun with each other or whatever. Or it can maybe be helpful in a clinical setting. I don't know. You got to talk to the people who prefer the use of these words. I mean, it just says here, it is important to check which words someone would prefer. So no one's going to be saying bonus hole to a cis woman if they don't like that. Again, they're just upset over nothing. This has been going for a while. I'm nearly done. It's been I had a big old list of stuff, so I'm just going to keep kind of going until the end here. But it's been nice to have you all here. It's like, you get an extra hole. It's a bonus. I got bonus holes up the wazoo, bro. I mean, so this is kind of funny, but also kind of sad. But it makes me think of people like Dave Rubin or whatever, who who say that they don't think that the Republican Party are homophobes. But in reality, they're getting fucking slammed by their Republican friends all the time, and they also don't want to come to their wedding, and and they're getting shamed for having kids, surrogate kids, and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, so this is leopards ate their face, ate my face subreddit, which is another good one. So this person, Chris Evans, not Captain America, so it's a different Chris Evans. So a conservative Mexican family on TikTok left California for Idaho because they wanted to live in a red state with other Republicans, and they posted a video about how they're moving back because it sucks and everyone's racist. I mean, it's very much a leopards eating face moment. I mean, it's just like any of those like gays against groomers grifters who pretend to be Republican or are Republican and are openly gay, but they just don't realize that there is going to come a time when they're going to be thrown out. They're going to once the right wing is done targeting. I mean, the right wing has never stopped targeting Mexicans for so it's pretty funny that they thought that this would be okay, but yeah, it is very much a leopard's eating face moment. So I just thought I'd show that. I thought it was kind of funny. And then there's this last one about Banana Republic. So this is on conservative memes, which is just a dumb fucking thing. Mugshot. August 24, 2023. Election interference. Never surrender, Donald Trump. DonaldJTrump.com. Don't go there. So we've got Banana Republic. I love that this is conservative. It's so funny to me that conservative memes is conservative only, just like snowflakes, echo chamber, safe space. When a nation starts arresting its political opponents, it is a clear sign that you're in a banana republic. So I've heard this term thrown around quite a bit recently, but also in a bunch of other contexts as well. But, conservatives being like, banana republic, banana. And I was always like, I don't even know what that fucking means. What does it mean? What is a banana republic? So I looked it up. And here we go. In political science, the term banana republic describes a politically and economically unstable country with an economy dependent upon the export of natural resources. In relation to Guatemala and Honduras, under economic exploitation by U.S. corporations such as the United Fruit Company. Typically, a banana republic has a society of extremely stratified social classes. Usually a largely impoverished working class and a ruling class plutocracy composed of business and political and military elites. The ruling class controls the primary sector of the economy by way of exploitation of labor. Therefore, the term banana republic is a pejorative descriptor for a servile oligarchy that abates and supports from kickbacks the exploitation of large-scale plantation agriculture, especially banana cultivation. A banana republic is a country with an economy of state capitalism, whereby the country is operated as a private commercial enterprise for the exclusive profit of the ruling class. Such exploitation is enabled by collusion between the state and favored economic monopolies, in which the profit derived from the private exploitation of public lands is private property, while the debts incurred thereby are the financial responsibility of the public treasury. Such an imbalanced economy remains limited by the uneven economic development of town and country, and usually reduces the national currency into devalued banknotes, paper money, therefore rendering the country ineligible for international development credit. So the reason I said all that is because there's nothing really there that has anything to do with arresting political opponents. I mean, maybe that potentially could have been something that happens in banana republics, but the point is that that is not what defines a banana republic. In the Wikipedia article, what defines a banana republic is this like insanely what's the word? State capitalism, overrun capitalism, in which a heavy ruling class is exploiting workers, and that really leads to a really unstable economy, and ultimately the collapse of the country. So it's more about this kind of economic thing than this political opponent thing. I mean, the arresting of political opponents is something that also happens in authoritarian societies and in fascist societies, these kinds of things. It's not that your political opponents are being arrested could be a clear sign that you're in any number of types of society. And that ignores the fact that this isn't really the arresting of a political opponent. This is, they say that Biden is arresting Trump, but Biden doesn't control the New York State what do you call it? The thing that arrests people. Biden doesn't control that. So, it's so much stupid about this in one little tiny meme. So, but it is kind of funny, like reading that definition of Banana Republic. There's a lot there that aligns with the hyper end stage capitalism place that America is in, and which was kind of funny. I mean, there are a couple of things that don't line up, but there's a lot of like late stage capitalism stuff that is happening there that is goes on in America as well. So I thought that was kind of funny when they inadvertently saying that they live in a banana republic, but inadvertently admitting that their country is shit because of capitalism, the thing that they love. Yeah. Anyway, there was one more thing that I wanted. MS Paint. Yeah. So I found some insane cope stuff. If I can, how do I do this? Oh, you can't. What if I just go? Oh, you can only see my cursor's being weird. What if I do this and I go? Hold on. There was just an insane cope thing I wanted to talk about, and I'll just go display capture. There we go. I'm just using OBS, and it's weird sometimes. We'll go over to there. Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. Nope, that one. There we go. Here's me buddy, Insane Cope. Insanely coping, as he is wont to do. That was one of the jokes we always used to make about this guy, is the fact that he only ever posts his own cope. The fact that he is coping over this particular thing. So we've got Insane Cope here talking about, or not even talking, just posting this picture of another person saying rare Massachusetts W, which is Massachusetts bans faithful Catholics from adopting children. A religious couple asked to foster and adopt vulnerable children. State says no, which on its face is like, yeah, but is that going to be, but then when you think about it, you're like, devout Catholics, that to me says Matt Walsh, and I would also not want Matt Walsh adopting children because I feel sorry for his children. He has like 6 children, and I feel incredibly sorry for them because he's a piece of shit. So let's have. I've found the actual article here. Dooby-dooby-doo. Oh my god, I'm behind. No, come forward. There we go. I found the actual article here. Or, sorry, it might not be the actual article, but it's an article about it. Sort of tells you about this couple. So we've got Mike and Kitty Burke. Kitty Burke, a Catholic couple from Southampton, say they were turned away as foster parents over their religious views on gender and sexuality. So initially there, I'm just like, okay, religious views on gender and sexuality. They're going to be bad. So a Catholic couple in Southampton. It also cracks me up how America doesn't have any original names. Like Southampton, that's a place in Britain, guys. Come on, Jesus. I suppose it's New England, right? They. Anyway, Catholic couple in Southampton are suing several officials within the Massachusetts, that's hard to say, Department of Children and Families, claiming the state barred them from fostering children over their religious beliefs on gender and sexuality. In a federal court filed this week. Federal lawsuit filed this week, Mike and Catherine Kitty Burke describe themselves as a loving couple who want to welcome children into their family. Mike, an Iraq war veteran, and Kitty, a former school paraprofessional, struggled with infertility and turned to foster care when private adoption was too expensive. Why didn't they just ask God for better fertility? But DFC denied the Burkes a foster care license, and as such, their last opportunity to become parents. The lawsuit reads, only one reason was given for the denial. They would not be affirming to a child who identifies as LGBTQIA. Good. I don't think that they should be allowed children if they, if they're going to abuse those children. Because that's what it would be. They would be abusing those children. There's a thing that I had saved on my phone. I haven't got it right here, but it's something to do with, it's a study which talks about how, children I mean, it just you don't even need to think about LGBTQ people. You can just think about kids in general. If you are a child and you are not supported by your parents, you're going to have a bad time. That's just logical. It's common sense. And I hate using that phrase because common sense is such a, that's a thing that the right uses all the time. There's only men and women. It's common sense. Fuck off. But, if you think about it, if you're a family with children and your parents are not supportive of you continually, on purpose, continuing to deny who you are, to suppress things about you. I mean, religious people have a long history of using conversion therapy to, that would begin to the extreme things of it. But, it's not off the table that these people wouldn't engage in conversion therapy stuff. If that's the case, if they are saying that they are going to do that because, it goes against their religious beliefs, then no, I don't think that they should be allowed to have kids because they're going to be abusing those children. Sorry, that makes sense to me. Don't be a fucking abusive parent, and then you can have some kids. Great. So Insane Cope over here is really just coping over the fact that these parents are bigots and they're not allowed to have children. The other one here I thought that was kind of funny. It was just a real quick one. It was funny for a couple of reasons. First of all, the fact that he only got 47 likes on this. 7 hours. It was on Twitter for 7 hours and he only got 47 likes. So as they would say, he forgot to bot his likes. And then second of all, I think it's Nigel Farage there getting milkshaked. I didn't actually see that this happened, but I think that's fantastic. And it just says, it happened to get fascist milkshaked. So someone's thrown a milkshake at Nigel Farage, which I think is great. I think it's Nigel Farage. I could be making shit up. Nigel Farage is a fascist anyway, so, okay, so that's the end of all the good stuff. But I always like to end these because everything's pretty fucking heavy. I like to end these things with some cute stuff. So in the spirit of cute things, Penguin of the Month. So there's the National Aquarium here in New Zealand, which is actually in my hometown, or it's close to my hometown. They have all these penguins, and they're all rescue penguins, which is great. They, they sometimes be found on a beach or something. They've been caught in something, or they've been attacked by a pet, or like a wild cat or something, or they've got injuries and things like that, and they'll be brought to the aquarium and they'll be rehabilitated and they'll be put back into the wild, which is great, which is very cool. And so, but they do have some penguins who can't be put back because they're just too damaged in a lot of ways, and so they stay, and that's cool as well. So, but they do this thing called Penguin of the Month, which is so fucking cute. And so here we go, Penguin of the Month. Mischievous Mo is at it again. It's the beginning of the Korera breeding season. I assume Korera must be what penguins is in Te Reo Māori. And all of the residents of Penguin Cove have been working hard at preparing their nest. The other thing you can do when you go to this, you can do penguin encounters. So you can pay, I think it's like $140, which is a lot. But to go in and like be with the penguins and like feed them and shit. And I really want to do it, but it's fucking expensive. It's like a nebula. It's cool, right? Yeah. You got all my computer games on there and stuff as well. So breeding time. Well, when we say all, we mean everyone apart from Mo. Typical Mo. He might be handsome and quite the charmer, but he seems to be leaving all the hard work to his much older partner, Betty. But usually both birds will help collect nesting material, but it seems like our mate Mo just likes to follow Betty around and provide moral support. We know charm and good looks will go a long way, but come on, Mo, help an old lady out. So there we go. Mo has got the Penguin of the Month award for leaving his girlfriend Betty to build the nest herself. Oh, that's so good. They, I don't know if this is a different one because they have another one. They have like a they have the two. There used to be. It was like two. This looks like it where it used to be because they have like a good and a bad penguin of the month, and so they had like the good, the bad penguins, and they were in these kinds of things. This is legit on the wall at the aquarium. Like you go there and it's just got that, and you can see them in the thing, and you'd be like, oh, there he is, not helping with the nest. So there you go. That's penguin of the month, which is great. And then there was a couple of little cute videos that I found. I thought this was quite cute. This dog just wanting some pizza. Animals being derps is a great subreddit. He wants that pizza real bad. And you can see his eyes just, I'm going to play that again. Yeah, here we go. Oh, I love that. Cute dog. Okay, cool. And that's that one. And then here was the last one. And so this is a video of a cat. It seems like it's an indoor cat, but they've let it outside. And so she's just living her best life. Look at her go. She looks like one of those English blue or British blues. Is it what they're called? I love them. Look at this guy. Look at This is so good. Just having the best time. I also want pizza. Damn. There's a really good pizza place in Napier, which is close to where I'm from, called Vinci's, and it's like New York style pizza, and damn, it's so good. When I was up there last, a couple of weeks back, I went with some friends, and we were leaving. We wanted to get, because it was getting late. It was getting late, and so we were like, oh, we want pizza, so maybe we should call ahead and order, because otherwise we won't get there in time. And so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And so I called ahead and was like, oh, I ordered a pizza. And I got there, and then I saw my friend, and she was already at the counter, and she'd ordered another pizza. And we're like, oh, now we have two big pizzas, which was great. They're a fucking good pizza. Yeah. Anyway, so that's been going for, how long have we been going for? Oh, nearly 2 hours. 1 hour and 58 minutes of me constantly talking. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you all being here and listening to my rambles and contributing in the chat. It was very nice of you. Advocate for my return to Twitter. Continually tweet at Mr. Musk, being like, Musk, give me the account back. I'm going to. Oh, that was the last thing I was going to do. I'm going to appeal here on my. I'm going to appeal on the stream. Submit an appeal. Here we go. Okay. Taking suggestions in the chat. What should I type in my appeal? Here we go. Going to appeal my suspension. Please give me suggestions. In the past, things I've said have been like, I just saw a tweet. Oh, come on. No, that's not right. So I know. In the past, I've said things like, here we go. Yeah. I just saw a tweet that said, like, gas the Jews or something like that. But my account's been suspended. Why? How come that's allowed, but my account is not? Things like that. So if you got some suggestions, let me know. And I'll type away. Oops. I was mass reported for misgendering? I'm very sorry. I am a satire card. I am actually a Nazi. Oh, that's funny. I wonder if that would work. I mean, I've been saying like, oh, I've been mass reported. Hi, my account was suspended for no clear reason. Meanwhile, oh no, I try to remain formal, you know. Free speech, freeze peach, peach. Free speech. Yeah. I was recently browsing X. I try to say X because I know that he doesn't like it when you call him Twitter. I've left the left. I'm now working for Dave Rubin. I was recently browsing X, and I saw an account. I saw an account calling for the murder of all black people, and I wondered why that was allowed. Don't mention anything, just say free speech. You should I actually like the I have left the left thing. Hi, I recently left the left. I'm now working for Dave Rubin. So my views are now more closely aligned with Elon's. I promise to use my account to affirm all of Elon's beliefs and help spread his glory to the rest of the world. Please reinstate my account and I will begin the proselytization. Is that how you spell that? Proselytizing? P.S. I love Cybertrucks. Oh yeah, there we go. P.S. I love Cybertrucks. Submit. Oh shit, last time it asked me to authenticate okay, no, that's all right. Last time I was on my computer, it asked me to do 20 of these, which was and I went through them all, and then I'd gotten 3 wrong, and it was sorry, that doesn't count. I don't know if they do. I feel like it's an automated process because I'll show you my hold on, I'll see if I can bring up my email here, and it'll because I've gotten replies, but they usually just X reserves the right to suspend any account that they want to. Yeah, so here you go. Update regarding your account. This is pretty much what I receive every time. X reserves the right to permanently suspend accounts that violate X rules or the terms of service without further notice. This account is suspended. Thanks, X. And that is what I receive every time. Here we go. Same thing. Same thing. Same thing. So I've been appealing for a while now, and this is the same response that I get every time. Same thing. Oh, look at that. I must have reported someone and they've had their account locked. So, okay, great. Twitter would like your feedback. I'm not satisfied at all. Ooh, interesting. I've never received this before. We're sorry. The survey to which you were invited has expired. Damn it. Oh, come on. Sometimes it's really fast. Sometimes it comes back immediately, and then other times it takes a little while. But it doesn't seem, it just seems automated. I want to know what that was for. Twitter support regarding your account. Hello, we're investigating your report. It seems like you still have control of your account. If you've noticed I don't have control of my account. Fuck you. Okay, I need to do that again. We're writing to let you know that we cannot take any action on your request because your account in question is currently locked or suspended to provide... okay, yeah, see, I tried to do an appeal. I tried to do an appeal, appeal in a different way so that someone would actually notice and, get in contact with me, because it would be nice to have an actual human responding to me rather than. I might just do that as well. Let's hold on, see if I can. I'll go back to the appeal thing. Submit an appeal. Now, if I go account access, I'm having problems accessing my account. Here we go. Now, what should I do? This is multi-choice, choose your adventure stuff, guys. I need to regain access to my X account. I'm trying to reactivate my account. I'd like to deactivate and close my account, appeal a locked or suspended account. I think I need to do this one. I need to regain access to my X account. Yeah. I forgot my password. I'm having trouble with two-factor identification. I believe my account has been hacked or compromised. Here we go. Reset your password. Are you able to log into X account? No. No. Yes? No. Your username. At Lord Aslan II. Good. Enter your email address. Aslan at... Yeah, that's the one. When was the last time you were able to access your account? Fucking months ago, mate. I don't know, it was like email. Are you currently able to log in or receive No. Please identify where you're currently located. God damn it. New Zealand. Please select which of the options below will lead. I don't know. Or I downloaded a file. I received an email about account changes. What should I do? What should I do? Describe your problem you're having. I am unable to access my account, and I would appreciate help from one of your support representatives. Thanks. There we go. Submit. Let's see if that does anything. Identify. Oh, damn. Submit. Here we go. We'll see if that does anything. Oh, geez. Anyway. Now it's been 2 hours and 8 minutes and 54 seconds. And the cat is still running around like a madman. Cool. Oh, I don't know. My bad. Anyway, yeah, thanks, fam. Good to have you here. Potentially this is a good time, or potentially not. Might do it. I might aim for this time again next week, or maybe a different time. But no, I think that this might be a good time. I appreciate you all. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your feedback in the chat. Thanks for interacting in the chat. And we'll go from there. We'll see you again next time. Much love.